Hello and welcome back everyone to the Agricola video series. Today we're going to be discussing the topic of loneliness, particularly amongst international students. Başak Bilecen is a professor in sociology at the University of Groningen and a Rosalind Franklin Fellow. Her research focuses on migration, networks and well-being. She's also in the Scientific Council of the Rudolf Agricola School for Sustainable Development and is the chair of the Dutch Association for Migration Research. Professor Bilecen is the lead author of a paper that conducts a sociostructural and transnational analysis of the social networks of Chinese students in Germany in order to unpack the reasons behind the feeling of loneliness. I have invited her today to discuss the nature and impact of her research.
Loneliness is the negative feeling that arises out of the discrepancy between individuals' social relationships and the ones that they want to have. So it's the mismatch between what we actually have and what we want to have. Well, in this research paper, what we found was that those who had more emotionally supportive ties were feeling more lonelier, which is counterintuitive, because we tend to think that those who have those emotionally supportive ties should buffer against loneliness and they should not feel more lonely. However, that was not the case. Since my PhD, I have been studying social support and personal networks, and I think loneliness is the other side of the coin. And according to the WHO, loneliness is a global epidemic. Even according to the latest statistics in the EU in 2022, 1 out of 8 persons feel severely lonely. And severe loneliness is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. In this research article, we used survey data to measure the personal networks of international students. And in my research, I also use it in a different way, where I really talk to people face to face and then do a network analysis with showing them concentric circles and ask them to put individuals that they know, like friends, family, relationships or neighbors, and then I ask more in-depth questions and analyze it from an intersectional perspective. I studied international relations, which draws upon economics and political science. I'm a sociologist. I also currently draw upon public health and psychology and social psychology when studying loneliness. This research article has 3 impacts. First, because we have a comparative study, we could really see the magnitude of loneliness among international students in comparison to the local students. And I would say the second impact is that because it's a snapshot, because it's a survey, and also because of this counterintuitive finding, that I think we need to study loneliness in a longitudinal manner. Because loneliness is also fluctuating over time. We might have friends at one stage of life, then the friendships might dissolve and we form new friends, etc., etc. So we have to really look at it in a timeline. The third impact of this research article, which made me also further think about, yes, we do find loneliness and we do find those mobile persons are lonely. But what is next? How do we address this challenge? That is then the interventions. For example, currently I have 2 projects that we are devising culturally sensitive interventions for different migrant groups.
As always, I hope you enjoyed this discussion and that I will see you next time for another fascinating talk.